Welcome everyone. We are dedicated by Shalom Fogeli, Nishmas Yaakov Zeb ben Yudaya, Rivka bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam bas Gad, Yosef ben Tziyam ben Yaakov Zeb, Lufu Shalema for Moshe Aya ben Miriam, for the schus of Chayat Tzivya bas Shoshana Gittel, also for the schus of great Shidduch for Bati bas Sarah, and by Baruch Ian, Lili Nishmas Yaakov Chaim ben Abba, Esther bas Gona, Avram ben Shmuel HaKohen, Lufu Shalema for Liva bas Anya, L'Refuah Shalema for Yosef Shmuel ben Miriam, and for a healthy mommy and healthy baby, for Ariel and Lior Bas Elza Rivka. We are holding on the bottom of Daf Lamed Daled Amud Beis, all the way on the bottom of Daf Lamed Daled Amud Beis. Amar Rav Chananel Amar Rav Hechalif Parsh Yosef Psulos. We know it's supposed to be from right to left, Kadesh, Vaya Kiviyacha, Shema, and Vaya Im Shemaya. If you change the order of the Parshiyos, it's possible. Amar Abaya mitigates that. Lo Yaman Ela Gavaisa Lebraisa, that's only if you put in an inner one, that's Vaya Kiviyacha and Shema, Lebraisa, to the outer. Ubraisa the Gavaisa, or the outer ones, Shema and Vahayim Shemaya, to the inside. Aval Gavaisa the Gavaisa, but if you switch the inner ones, like Vahayim Kiviyacha and Shema, Ubraisa the Braisa, or if you switch Kadesh and Vahayim Shemaya, less Lanba. It's no problem. So Gemara says, I don't understand why that is. Amalei Maishna Gavaisa the Braisa the Gavaisa. Why, if you change an out one to an inside one to an outside one, or an outside one to an inside one, delay that it's possible? That which is supposed to be facing the outside, like Kachazia, and if you put an inner one on the outside, that which is supposed to not see the outside, Kachazia does, says the Gemara, well, Braisa the Gavyaisa the Gavyaisa Nami. If you switch the outer ones, Kadesh and Vayim Shemaya, or the inner ones, Hach the Bayil Merze Avir the Yamin, the one is supposed to see the airspace of the right, Kadesh, is now because Kachazia Avir the Smell is seeing the airspace of the left. And Udismail, and the one on the left, Kachazia Avir the Yamin. Ela Leishna, it makes no difference. You cannot deviate from the halakha Moshe Sinai, Kadesh, Vayim Kivyacha, Shema, Vayim Shemaya. Now, around the tefillin there's a perimeter, that's called the titura, and then we have the wide part where the ritzuas go through, that's called the mabarta. So Amar Rav Chananel Amar Rav, Titura the tefillin, the perimeter around the tefillin, Halacha Moshe Sinai, and Amar Abaya, that extra part on one side where the ritzuas go, Mabarta the tefillin, Halacha Moshe Sinai. Amar Abaya, Shin shel tefillin, the shin on the outside of the tefillin, Halacha Moshe Sinai. V'tzarech sheyagiach charitz l'mekayim atvar, and the ridges, the ridges between the parshiyos on the tefillin sharash have to go all the way down to the stitching. Rab Dimi min Ardam, no. Kavan the mimka, once you see the ridges, the grooves, leitzach, you don't need anything more. V'amar Abaya, hai kilpa the tefillin, the parchment of the tefillin tzarech l'mivdeke, you have to check it beforehand to make sure there's no hole. Because if there's a hole and the letter goes over the hole, there might be a hole, and then it has to be an uninterrupted writing, which it won't be because of the hole, the leka. However, Rav Dimi min Ardam aloy tzarech, you don't have to, because kulmas abadikle, because the cipher when he writes, he'll feel a hole. and he'll know it, and he'll avoid it. Amar Reb Yitzchak, Ritzuay Shchayris Halach L'Moshe Misinai. Black straps are Halach L'Moshe Misinai. So the Gemara says, Meisvei, Tefillin ein koshin oisan ela b'mina. The straps have to be also out of leather, but they could be bein yerukais, they could be green, bein shchayris, they could be black, bein levanos, they could be white. However, adumois lo yaseh, it shouldn't be red mipnei genai, because it would be a disgrace for the one who wears it. It looks like maybe he was bleeding and he has sores, or v'davar achar, or it might be that, remember they used to wear tefillin the whole day, and people might think that it's from his wife's menstruancy. So here we see that the tefillin could be, the straps could be green, black, and white. The Gemara is going to address the shaila, but it first interrupts and tells us, Amar Rabbi Yehuda Ma'aseh b'Talmidei shel Rabbi Akiva. There was an incident with a disciple of Rabbi Akiva. Sheyakosher tefillin b'lishaynai shel tchelis. He tied his tefillin with straps of blue wool. V'lo amalei davar. Well, we just said that it has to be b'mina, it has to be leather. Says Gemara, Efshar oiseh tzadik ra talmidai. Is it possible that tzaddik saw his Talmud do such a thing, v'loi michabai, and he didn't protest? Amrulai, so they said to him, Hain, loi ra'isai. Rabbi Akiva never saw it. Ra'isai, if he would have saw it, loi hayamanichai, he wouldn't have left him. The Gemara says, Ma'aseh b'Hurkanis b'Naisha Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkanis. There was an incident, Hurkanis, the son of Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkanis, sheyakosher tefillin b'lishaynai shel agaman. He tied on tefillin with purple wool. V'lo amalei davar. Efshar oiseh tzadik ra b'nai. Is it possible that Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkanis saw that v'lo michabai and he didn't protest? Amrulai, no. Hein lo ra'is. He didn't see it. V'imra, if he saw it, lo hayamanichai. But the bottom line is, it says that the straps could be green, it could be white. Ketani mia bein yerokos, bein shcharis, bein levanos. It could be green, it could be black, it could be white. Says Gemara kasha kami b'fnim, kami b'chutz. One is on the inside, and one is on the outside. The outside has to be black. The inside, it could be whatever color. Says Gemara, but if it's on the inside, then why can't it be red? My gnai v'davar achar. What are we worried about if it's inside? Says the Gemara, zimnim d'mishapchinlei. Sometimes it gets twisted, so it shouldn't be red. That it shouldn't be gnai when it gets twisted. Today it became popular to make it black on both sides if it gets twisted. Some like it, some don't like it. There's a different minhagim. I remember a few cycles ago, I brought in a Reform magazine, and it had a woman rabbi on the cover wearing pink tefillin. And it just shows you how convoluted. Here the tefillin is to show that we accept the Eibishter's mitzvahs, and it's openly not accepting Halach L'Moshe Misinai. It's Tana, tefillin merubas, Halach L'Moshe Misinai. Tefillin, that it needs to be square, is Halach L'Moshe Misinai. Amar Papa, it just doesn't mean on the top. It should be square all the way down to the stitching, b'tifron, so you can't pull it too tight, so it doesn't take away the squareness. U'balachsoina, it should be perfectly square, that the diagonal should be 1.414 or whatever of the sides. Lema Messiah ha'isa tfilasei agula. If you make it tefillin round, sakana, because the fact that it's round, if you bang into something, it could go into your skull. The aim ba mitzvah, and you don't fulfill the mitzvah, so you see it has to be square. Amra papa masnisin davi de kam guza. That no, there it could be saying where it's a nut, like an egg, but maybe if it has a flat base, it could be round. So therefore, we have to learn that it has to be square. Amra Huna, tefillin kolzman shepnei tabla kayemes. As long as the surface of the tefillin is intact. Now, as long as the outside of the tefillin is intact, shapes. Now that sounds like if the inner compartments fall apart, it's still good. But Rav Chisda says no. Rav Chisda Amar nifseku shtayim, if two of the inner compartments are split open, ksheris. Shalosh, but three is psulos. And Amar Rav Hada Amar shtayim ksheris, two are kosher. That's like Amran el zeh shaloi keneged zeh. That's when they're not next to each other. Aval zeh keneged zeh, if they're next to each other, psulos. V'zeh keneged zeh nami, and even if they're next to each other, lo amran ela b'charita. That's only if it's a new tefillin. Because it's a new tefillin and it falls apart, that means that the hide was not a good hide initially. Aval ba'tikta, if it's old, less lanba. That's not a problem. Amalei Abaya, Rav Yosef, heichi damin charita v'heichi damin atikta. What consists of new and what consists of old? Amalei, kol heicha ki mislei beik b'shilcha. Where if you would stretch the leather, v'hader cholim, it would spring back, atikta, that's already old. The idach, but if it wouldn't spring back, charita, that's new. The inami, another definition. Kol heicha dechi misla b'misna, if one pulls the tefillin by the strap, and another pulls in the other direction, asya basrei, it will come to him without splitting, charita, that's new. The idach, but if it would split, that's atikta, that's old. Okay, now that we got started, first of all, Barry, I apologize. You asked me how I was feeling, and I was rude, and I put it on mute. But what happens is everybody has their 1 minute say, and then we don't get started. So I wanted to get started, and I appreciate you asking me. I'm still treading water. I'm still waiting for my body to spring back. It's still not springing back yet, but hopefully very soon. And everybody's
you're still new, Rabbi. In other words, you're not old. Okay.
Yeah. We want to welcome in Ben-Zion Cohn, Yaakov Warman, Ruvain Shannon, Irving Fishbaum, Dr. Guy, Yisrael Fisher, Saba, Mel Zachter, Yitzi Fuchs, A.B. Spry, Shalom Fogel, Barish Gesseman, Gabriel Epstein, Barry Cement, Chaim Kramer, Baruch Ian, Rabbi Kranz, Michael, Nachman Chapler, Itchy, who I had the pleasure to see by Mincha. He actually heard me speak in the Young Israel today. Bruce, Mo Kushner, Eddie Chazan, Stephen Holtzman, Ilya Shutman, Avram Zepkowitz, Elia Yaffe, Richard Rosenzweig, Yitzi Muller, Shimon Deer, Moshe Lehman. Missing a lot of people tonight. Wow, Dahlia's not here, and Mark is not here, and Marshall is not here. Now, Abaye Av Yosef Kamei de Reb Yosef. Abaye was sitting before Reb Yosef. If siklei ritzua de tefillah, a strap of his tefillin tore. Amalei ma'ula miktere. Can I tie it? Can I make a knot? Amalei ukshartem ksiv, that it should take shiratama. It should be a perfect tie. not that you should add a knot, and therefore you shouldn't do it. Could you sew it? And then and turn it inside so it's not seen. So he said, and we'll learn like Rashi, go and see what the custom is. And the custom is taka not to do that. If after having the straps, one of them snapped, and there's only left a stub, is it kosher? So the Gemara says, V'lav milsihi. So the Gemara says it's kosher, but the Gemara retorts, but that's not possible. Mid'ama b'nei Reb Chia, gardume tchilas, the stubs of one of the fringes of the tzitzis, gardume ezayv, and the stubs of the hyssop that used for spraying by the mitzayra, or by the mechatas, ksherim. So it implies only there. Hasamu, the tashmish ain't mitzvah ninu, because it's only a tashmish the mitzvah. Avalacha the tashmish kedusha ninu, but here tefillin is higher. You see, tzitzis, when they get old, you could put it in a separate bag and throw it away. But tefillin, when they get old, you have to bury it. It's Tangeniza, because tefillin are tashmisha kedusha. There's a beautiful word from the Chiddushei Rim. The Chiddushei Rim says that tefillin, because they have the Shema and the volume Shemaya in them, they become tashmisha kedusha. If a person has Shema in his heart and volume Shemaya in his heart, then we become tashmisha kedusha. Says the Gemara, Michlal the Islu Shiura. So if a stub is not good, that implies that the straps have a shear. What's the shear? V'kama shiurayu, Amar Rami Bar Chama, Amar Reish Lakish, ad etzba tzirda. Now this means the index finger. It's called the tzirda because it's sarada. It's a rival to the thumb. Now, Rav Kahana machne kafaf. Rav Kahana showed that the shear of the strap has to be the distance between the index finger and the middle finger, which is not that much. While Rav Ashi machve poshet, the difference between the thumb and the index finger, which is more. Rav Acha bar Yaakov kataluhu, he had the straps. Rabba kataluhu would have the straps. Uposhit, he would straighten the straps. V'shadi lahu, and he would throw it behind him. Rav Acha bar Yaakov kataluhu umaslusu, he would make a braid out of it. My braid, Ravina of it kididan, we let it hang in front of us. Am Rav Yehuda braid Rav Shmuel bar Shilas mishmei de Rav kesher shel tefillin. The knot of the tefillin is alach l'Moshe Sinai. In other words, the knot at the head that is a dalid, and the knot of the shel yad, which is a yud, that's alach l'Moshe Sinai. Am Rav Nachman. And you should see clearly the dalit. Rav Ashi Avi Yosef Kamei de Marzutra Ishaprele Ritzua de Tefillin. The Ritzua twisted. Amalei. So he said to him, Lo Yisava Lamar V'noyeyen Levar. The beauty should be outside. Amalei Lavadatoy. I didn't realize it got twisted. V'ro Kol Amei Oretz. And all of the people of the land saw, Ki Shem Hashem Nikra Alecha, that the name of Hashem is upon you, V'yaru Mimeka, and they will be afraid of you. Tanya, Elu Tefillin Shel Rosh, that the fear Why will people see that the name of Hashem is upon you and fear you? It means they'll see the tefillin shel Rosh. There's a famous Maisa with the Gra. The Gra had a minion in his house. And he was in an inner room. And they busted in a guy brandishing a knife. And everybody started screaming. And the guy came out, and the man took one look at the guy with his talis and tefillin, and he paled and he ran away. So the guy said, it says, Ro kol ha'aretz ki shem Hashem nikra alecha v'yorim mimeka. So they asked him, but we were also wearing tefillin. So he says, it doesn't say in the Gemara, kol ha'maniach tefillin al roshai. It says, kol ha'maniach tefillin biroshai. If the tefillin is in your head, if you have the message in your head, then people will be afraid of you. I always say over that the Gemara tells us a famous Maisa of Elisha Bal Knafayim, that he wore tefillin, and the Romans had a gezerah that kol ha'maniach tefillin yidoker es moichai. Whoever wears tefillin, his brain should be pierced. Now that's a very unusual comment, because usually what do they say? Off at your head. Your brain should be pierced. But even the Romans understood that the main thing of wearing the tefillin is not on the head, it's in the head. To get the message in the head. That we're subjugating ourselves to Hashem. Laman tia teres Hashem b'ficha. It's a reminder that we're going to learn Torah today, tonight. V'asiroisi es kapi. I will remove my hand, the Rabbeinu Shalom said, v'ri'isi es acharoi, and you'll see me from the back. That's what Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu. Amar Avchana bar Bizna, Amar Rabbi Shimon Chasida, Malamed sheher le HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'Moshe kesher shel tefillin. Because it says the Rabbeinu Shalom also wears tefillin. In the Rabbeinu Shalom's tefillin it says different things. It says Mi kamcha Yisrael goy echad ba'aretz. It says things about Klal Yisrael. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, kesher shel tefillin tzarich sheyehei lamala. The kesher of the tefillin should be on top. It's better if the tefillin is above the hole, above the crevice. Kadeshu Yisrael lamala, indicating that Klal Yisrael is on the top, v'lo lamata, and never on the bottom. But tzarich sheyehei klapi pnim, it should be immediately parallel to the center of the face, not to the sides. Kadesha Yisrael lefanin, to show that Klal Yisrael is ahead, v'lo la'acher, not behind. Amar Rav Shmuel bar Bidri Amar Rav. Rav Shmuel bar Bidri says in the name of Rav, Imri lo Amar Vacha Aricha Amar Rav Huna. Rav Vacha the tall says in the name of Rav Huna. V'imri lo Amar Rav Menachos Amar Shmuel. Tefillin me'emasai mevarech aleim. When do you make a bracha on them? Mishas hanachasim, when you put them on. So Gemara says, but we know that we're supposed to do a mitzvah before the bracha before. V'amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, ini v'amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel mevarech aleim kol mitzvahs kulan mevarech aleim oiver la'asiyasim, before you do them. So the Gemara tells us Habaye v'Rava Dimrei Travayu mishas hanacha, you have to put it on the bicep and make the bracha b'ad shas hakshira, before you tie it. And that's what we do. We put it on the bicep, and before we tie it, we make the bracha. Because if you do it before you put it on, that's over the over. It's too early. Wow. What a pleasant daf. And what a wonderful pleasure. We want to thank Berish Gesseman, who is going to sponsor the Chumash this week. But if anybody wants to be a second sponsor, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Also, we want to mention a new sponsor this month. That's dailygiving.org. Dailygiving.org is a parallel of tzedakah to the Daf Yomi. The beauty of Daf Yomi is it's every day. Dailygiving.org, you swipe a credit card once, and you're assured that you give $1 a day to tzedakahs that you wouldn't have access to. It gives you a variety of tzedakahs that's so wonderful, from a time to Oel to Hatzalah to Tomchei Shabbos to TorahAnytime.com to Pilim to Misaskim it's unbelievable, and it makes sure that you never miss out. Your dollar every day goes to a really, really, really good tzedakah. So if you haven't, I know a lot of my Talmidim already joined, but if you didn't, I really encourage you. It's a great schus, dailygiving.org. I gave an example that we go to shul, and in shul a lot of times people are going around for dollars. So a lot of times we give our dollars. But our wives don't give that. You can do it for the schus of your wife, you can do it for the schus of a refuah, you can do it for the schus of a nifter. Dailygiving.org. We'll pause a moment and learn the Mishnah Yomis.